Complete Works of Swami Vivekananda, Volume 3, Section 4, My Plan of Campaign, Part 2. First, educate the nation, create your legislative body, and then will be forthcoming. First, create the power, the sanction from which the law will spring. The king are gone. Where is the new sanction, the new power of the people? Bring it up. Therefore, even for social reform, the first duty is to educate the people, and you will have to wait till that time comes. Most of the reform that have been agitated for during the past centuries have been ornamental. Every one of these forms only touches the first two castes and no other. The question of widow marriage would not touch 70% of the Indian women, and all such questions only reach the higher castes of Indian people who are educated. Mark you, at the expense of the masses. Every effort has been sent in learning their own houses, but that is no reformation. You must go down to the basis of the thing, to the very root of the matter. That is what I call radical reform. Put the fire there and let it burn upward and make an Indian nation. And the solution of the problem is not so easy as it is big and a vast one. Be not in a hurry. This problem has been known several hundred years. Today, it is the fashion to talk of Buddhism and Buddhistic agnosticism, especially in the South. Little do they dream that this degradations, which is with us today, has been left by Buddhism. This is the legacy which Buddhism has left to us. You read in books written by men who had never studied the rise and fall of Buddhism that the spread of Buddhism was owing to the wonderful ethics and the wonderful personality of Gautam Buddha. I have ever every respect and veneration for Lord Buddha. But mark my words, the spread of Buddhism was less owing to the doctrine and personality of the great preacher than to the temples that were built, idols that were erected, and the gorgeous ceremonies that were put before the nation. Thus, Buddhism progressed. The little fireplaces in the houses in which the people poured their libations were not strong enough to hold their own against these gorgeous temples and ceremonies, but later on the whole thing degenerated. It became a mass of corruption, of which I cannot speak before this audience, but those who want to know about it may see a little of it in those big temples, full of sculptures in southern India, and this is all the inheritance we have from the Buddhist. Then arose the great reformer. Then arose a great reformer, Shankaracharya, and his followers. And during these hundreds of years, since his time to the present day, there have been a slow bringing back of the Indian masses to the pris- pristine purity of the Vedantic religion. This reforming knew full well the evil which existed, yet they did not condemn. They did not say, all that you have is wrong and you must throw it all away. It can never be so. Today, I read that my friend Dr. Barrows says that in 300 years, Christianity overthrew the Roman and Greek religion influences. That is not the word of a man who has seen Europe and Greece and Rome. The influence of Rome and Greek religion is all there, even in the Protestant countries, only with changed names. Old gods rechristened, rechristened in a new fashion. They change their names. The goddesses may become Mary, and the gods become saints, and the ceremonials become new. Even the old title of Pontifex Maximus is there. So, sudden changes cannot be. Shankaracharya knew it. So did Ramanuj. The only was left to them was slowly to bring up the highest ideal, the existing religion. It if they had brought to apply the other methods, they would have been hypocrites. For the very wonderful or fundamental doctrine of their religion is evolution, the soul going towards the higher goal or highest goal through all these various stages and phases, which are therefore necessary and helpful, and you dares condemn them. It has become a trite saying that idolatry is wrong, and every man swallows it at the present time without questioning. I once thought so, and to pay the penalty of that, I had to learn my lesson sitting at the feet of a man who realized everything through idols. I allude to Sri Ramakrishna Paramhans. If such Ramakrishna Paramhans are produced by idol worship, what will you have, the former creeds or any number of idols? I want an answer. Take 1,000 idols more if you can produce Ramakrishna Paramhans through ideal worship, and may God speed you. Produce such noble natures by any means you can. At idolatry is condemned. Why? Nobody knows. Because some hundreds of years ago, some man of Jewish blood happened to condemn it. That is, he happened to condemn everybody else's idol except his own. If God is represented in any beautiful form or any symbolic form, said the Jews, it is awfully bad. It is a sin. But if he is represented in the form of a chest with two angels sitting on the each side and a cloud hanging over it, it is holy of holies. If God comes in the form of dove, it is holy. But if he comes in the form of cow, it is heathen superstition, condemn it. That is how the world goes. That is why the poet says that what fools we mortals be. How difficult it is to look through each other's eyes, and that is the ban of humanity. That is the basis of hatred, jealousy, of quarrel, of fight. Boys, mustached babies who never went out of Madras, standing up and waiting and wanting to dictate law to hundreds, millions of people with thousands of traditions at their back. Are you not shamed? Stand back from such blasphemy and learn first your lesson. Irreverent, irreverent boys, simply because you can squirrel a few lines upon paper and get some fools of the world, you think you are a public opinion of India? Is that so? This I have to tell to the social reformer of Madras, that I have the greatest respect and love for them. I love them for their great hearts and their love for their country, for the poor, for the oppressed. But what I would tell them with the brothers' love is that their method is not right. It has been tried hundreds of years and failed. Let us try some new method. Did India ever stand in want of reformers? Do you read the history of India? Who was Ramanuj? Who was Shankara? Who was Nanak? Who was Chaitanya? Who was Kabir? Who was Dadu? Who were all these great preachers, one following the others, a galaxy of stars of the first magnitude? Did not Ramanuj feel for the low classes? Did he not try all his life to admit even the parhe of to his community? Did he not try to admit even Muhammadan to his own fold? Did not Nanak confer with Hindus and Muhammadans and try to bring about a new state of things? They all tried, and their work is still going on. The difference is this: they had not the fanfaronade of the reformer of today. They had no curses on their lips as modern reformers have. Their lips pronounced only blessing, they never condemned. They said to the people that the race must always grow. They looked back and they said, O Hindus, what you have done is good. But my brothers, let us do better. They did not say, You have been wicked, now let us do be good. They said, You have been good, and now let us be better. That makes the whole world of difference. We must grow according to our nature. Vain is it to attempt the lines of action that the foreign societies have engrafted upon us. It is impossible. Glory unto God. That is impossible. That we cannot be twisted and tortured into the shape of other nations. I do not condemn the institutions of other races. They are good for them, but not for us. What is meant for them may be poison for us. This is the first lesson to learn. With other sciences, other institutions, and other traditions behind them, they have got their present system. We, with our tradition, with thousands of years of karma behind us, naturally can only follow our own bends, run in our own grooves, and that we shall have to do. What is my plan then? My plan is to follow the ideas of the great ancient masters. I have studied their work, and it has been given up to me to discover the line of action they took. They were the great originators of the society. They were the great givers of the strength and of purity and of life. They did most marvelous work. We have to do most marvelous work also. Circumstances have become a little different, and in consequences, the lines of the action have to be changed a little, and that is all. I see that each nation, like each individual, has one theme in this life, which is its center, the principal note round which every other notes come to the form the harmony. In one nation, political power is its vitality, as in England, artistic life in another, and so on. In India, religion's life form the center, keynote of whole music of national life. And if any nation attempts to throw off its national vitality, the direction which has become its own through the transmission of the centuries, that nation dies if it succeed in the attempt. And therefore, if you succeed in the attempt of throwing off your religion and take up either politics or society or any other things as your center, has the vitality of your national life, the result will be that you will become instinct. To prevent this, you must make all and everything work through that vitality of your religion. Let all your nerves vibrate through the backbone of your religion. I have seen that I cannot preach even religion to Americans without showing them its practical effect on social life. I could not preach religion in England without showing the wonderful political changes the Vedanta would bring. So, in India, social reform has to be preached by showing how much more spiritual a life the new system will bring, and the politics has to be preached by showing how much it will improve the one thing that the nation wants, its spirituality. Every man has to make his own choices, so has every nation. We made our choices ages ago, and we must abide by it. And after all, it is not such a bad choice. Is it such a bad choice in this world to think not of matter but of spirit, not of man but of God? That intense faith in another world, that intense hatred for this world, that intense power of renunciation, that intense faith in God, that instant faith in immortal soul is in you. I challenge anyone to give it up. You cannot. You may try to impose upon me by becoming materialistic, by talking materialistic for a few months, but I know what you are. If I take you by my hand, back you come to as a good thesis has ever were born. How can you change your nature? So every improvement in India requires first all an unhevel or in religion. Before floods India with socialistic and political ideas, first dilute the land with spiritual ideas. The first work that demands our attention is that the most wonderful truth confined is in Upanishad, in our scriptures, in our Puranas, must be brought out from the books, brought out from the monasteries, brought out from the forest, brought out from the possession of the selected bodies of the people, and scattered broadcast all over the land, so that this truth may run like fire all over the country, from north to south, from east to west, from the Himalayas to Comorin, From the Sindh to the Brahmaputra, everyone must know of them, because it is said, this has first to be heard, then had to be thought upon, and then meditated upon. This has first to be heard, then thought upon, and then meditated upon. Let the people hear first, and whoever helps in making the people hear about the great truth in their own scriptures cannot make for himself a better karma today, says our Vyas. In the Kali Yuga, there is one karma left. Sacrifice and tremendous tapasya are of no avail now. Of karmas, one remains, and that karma is giving. And of this giving, the gift of spirituality and spiritual knowledge is the highest. The next gift is the gift of securial knowledge, and the next gift is the life, and the fourth one is the food. Look at the wonderful charitable race, country. Look at the amount of gift that are made in this poor country. Look at the hospitality where a man can travel from north to south and having the best in the land, being treated always by everyone as if he were a friend, and where no beggar starves so long as there is a piece of bread anywhere. In this land of charity, let us take up the energy of the first charity, the diffusion of the spiritual knowledge, and that diffusion should not be confined within the bound of India. It must go out all over the world. This has been the custom. Those that tell you that Indian thoughts never went outside of India, those that tell you that I am the first sannyasin who went to the foreign land to preach, do not know the history of their own races. Again and again, this phenomena has happened. Whenever the world has been required it, this perennial flood of spirituality has overflowed and deluged the world. Gifts of political knowledge can be made with the blast of trumpet and cohort. March of cohort. Gifts of secular knowledge and social knowledge can be made with fire and sword, but spiritual knowledge can only be given in silence, like a dew that falls unseen and unheard. But the spiritual knowledge can only be given in the silent, like a dew that is unseen and unfall that falls unseen and unheard, and brings into the bloom masses of the roses. This has been the gift of India to the world again and again. Whenever there has been a great conquering race bringing the nation of the world together, making roads and transit possibilities, immediately India arose and gave her course on the of the spiritual power to the sum total of the progress of to the world. This happened ages before Buddha was born. The remnant of it are still left in China, in Asia Minor, and the heart of Malayan archipelago. This was the case when the great Greek conqueror united the four corners of the then known world, then rushed out Indian spirituality, and the boasted civilization of the West is but the remnant of that deluge. Now the same opportunity has again come. The power of England has linked the nations of the world together as was never done before. English roads and channels of communication rush from one end of the world to the another, allowing the English genius. The world today has been linked in some fashion as has never before been done. Today, trade centers have been formed much such as have never been before in the history of mankind, and immediately, consequently, and consciously or unconsciously, India rises up and pours forth her gift of spirituality, and they will rush through this road till they have reached the very end of the world. That I went to America was not my doing or your doing, but the God of India, who is guiding her destiny, sent me and will send hundreds of such to all the nations of the world. No power on earth can resist it. This also has to be done. You must go out to preach your religion, preach it to every nation under the sun, preach it to every people. This is the first thing to do, and after preaching spiritual knowledge along with it will come the secular knowledge and every other knowledge that you want. But if you attempt to get the secular knowledge without religion, I tell you plainly, vain is. your attempt in India. It will never have a hold on the people. Even the great Buddhistic movement was a failure, partially on account of that. Therefore, my friends, my plan is to start institution in India to train our young men as preachers of the truth of our scriptures in India and outside India. Men, men, these are wanted. Everything else will be ready. But strong, vigorous, believing young men, sincere to the backbone, are wanted. To the backbone are wanted. 100 such, and the world becomes revolutionized. The will is stronger than anything else. Everything must go down before the will, for that comes from God and God Himself. A pure and a strong will is omnipotent. Do you not believe in it? Preach, preach unto the world the great truth of your religion, theories of degradation. They have been told that they are nothing. The masses have been told all over the world that they are not human beings. They have been so frightened for centuries, till they have nearly become animals. Never were they allowed to hear, never were they to allow to hear hear of the Atma. Never were they allowed to hear of the Atma. Let them hear of the Atma. That even the lowest of the low have the Atma within, which never dies and never born. Of him whom the sword cannot pierce, nor the fire burn, nor the air dry, immortal, without beginning, without end, the all pure, omnipotent, omnipresent Atman. Let them have faith in themselves. For what makes the difference between the Englishman and you? Let them talk their religion and the duty and so forth. I have found the difference. The difference is here that the Englishman believes in himself and you do not. He believes in his being an Englishman and he can do anything. That brings out the God within him and he can do anything he likes. You have been told and taught that you cannot do nothing and nonetheless, you are becoming everything. What we want is strength. So believe in yourself. You have become weak, and that is why occultism and mysticism come to us. This creepy, these creepy things. There may be great truths in them, but they have nearly destroyed us. Make your nerves strong. What we want is muscles of iron and nerves of steel. We have whipped long enough. No more whipping, but stand on your feet and be men. It is a man making religion that we want. It is a man making theories that we want. It is man making education all around that we want. And here is the test of truth. Anything that makes you weak physically, intellectually, and spiritually, reject as poison. There is no life in it. It cannot be true. Truth is strengthening. Truth is purity. Truth is all knowledge. Truth must be strengthening, must be enlightening, must be invigorating. This mysticism, in spite of some grains of truth in them, are generally weakening. Believe me, I have a lifelong experience of it, and the one conclusion that I draw is that it is weakening. I have traveled all over India, searching almost every cave here, and lived in the Himalayas. I know people who lived there all their lives. I love my nation. I cannot see you degraded, weakened any more than you are now. Therefore, I am bound for your sake and for truth's sake to cry hold and to raise my voice against the degradation of my race. Give up this weakening mysticism and be strong. Go back to your Upanishad, the shining, the strengthening, the bright philosophies, and part from all these mysterious things, all these weakening things. Take up this philosophy. The greatest truth are the simplest things of the world, simple as yours own existence. The truths of the Upanishad are before you. Take them up, live up to them, and the salvation of India will be at hand. One word more, and I have finished. They talk of patriotism. I believe in patriotism and I also have my own ideal of patriotism. These things are necessary for great achievement. First, feel from the heart. What is in the intellectual or reason? It goes a few steps and there is a stop. But through the heart comes inspiration. Love opens the most impossible gates. Love is the gate to all the secrets of the universe. Feel. Therefore, my would be reformer, my would be patriots. Do you feel? Do you feel that millions and millions of the descendant of gods and the sages have become next door neighbors to brutes? Do you feel that millions are starving today and millions have been starving for ages? Do you feel that ignorance have come over the land as a dark cloud? Does it makes you restless? Does it makes you sleepless? Has it gone into your blood, coursing through your veins, becoming consonant with your heartbeats? Has it made you almost mad? Are you seized with that one idea of misery, of ruin? And have you forgotten all about your name, your fame, your wives, your children, your property, even your own bodies? Have you done that? That is the first step to become a patriot. The first step, the first very step. I did not go to America, as most of you know, for the Parliament of Religion, but this demon of the feeling was in me and within my soul. I traveled 12 years for all over India, finding no way to work for my countrymen, and that is why I went to America. Most of you know that you knew me then. Who cares about this parliament of religion? Here was my own flesh and blood sinking every day, and who cared for them? This was my first step. You may feel then, but instead of spending your energies in frothy talks, have you found any way out, any practical solution, some help instead of redemption, some sweet words or to smooth their miseries, to bring them out of this living death. Yet that is not all. Have you got the will to surmount mountain high obstructions? If the whole world stands against you, sword in hand, would you still dare to do what you think is right? If your wives and children are against you, if all your money goes, your name dies, your wealth vanishes, would you still stick to it? Would you still pursue it and go on steadily towards your own goal? As the great king Bhartrihari says, as the great king Bhartrihari says, let the sages blame and let them raise. Let the goddess of the fortune come or let her go wherever she likes. Let death come together or come today or let it come in hundreds of years. He indeed is the steady man who does not move 1 inch from the way of truth. Have you got the steadfastness? If you have these three things, each one of you will work miracles. You need not write in the newspaper. You need not go about lecturing. Your very face will shine. If you live in the cave, your thoughts will permeate even through the rock walls, will go vibrating all over the world for hundreds of years, maybe until they will fasten onto some brain and work out there. Such is the power of thought, of sincerity, and of purity of purpose. I am afraid I am delaying you. But one word more. This national ship, my countrymen, my friends, my children's, this national ship has been ferrying millions and millions of the souls across the water of life for scores of uh, for scores of shining centuries. It has been flying across this water, and through its agencies, millions of souls have been taken to the other shore to blessedness. But today, perhaps through your own fault, this boat has become little damaged and has sprung a leak. And would you therefore curse it? Is it fit that you stand up and malediction, pronounce malediction upon it? One that has done more work than any other thing is the world. in the world. If there are holes in this national ship, this society of ours, and we are its children, let us go and stop the holes. Let us gladly do it with our heart's blood. And if we cannot, then let us die. We will make a plug of our brains and put them into the ship, but condemned it never. Say not one harsh word against this society. I love it for its past greatness. I love you all because you all are the children of God, because you are the children of glorious forefathers. How then can I curse you? Never. All blessings be upon you. I have come to you, my children, to tell you all my plans. If you hear them, I am ready to work with you. But if you will not listen to them and even kick me out of India, I will come back and tell you that we are all in sinking. I am come now to sit in your midst, and if we are to sing, let us all sing together, but never let curse rise to our lips.